Hey guys, this is Karthika Kantwal from Apex Finsav, and well, I'm back with the daily dose of charts for tomorrow's trading session along with the index outlook. But as usual, before we start with the new charts, out of all the trades that we had discussed yesterday, we had three triggers today: MFSL, Just Dial, and Bharat Forge. Out of which MFSL was a target hit, Just Dial was a stop loss hit, and Bharat Forge closed more or less at cost. But on the personal side of things, we had a green trading session with good trades we had on GBP, INR, and silver as well. So it was a good trading session for us. I hope the same goes for you as well. I hope you guys are on the green side too. Whereas as far as the watchlist is concerned, it was more or less of a NPNL day with slight red if you consider the cost of participation, brokerage, and taxes, everything. If you count that in, then it's a slight red day. Other than that, NPNL, and for personal side, it was a green day. I hope it was green for you guys too. Now let's move on for to the charts that we have for tomorrow's trading session. Starting with the first one, as usual, SR Transfen. Now SR Transfen, we are going to go for a long position here, simply because if you look at today's, if you look at today's candle formation, or if you simply look at the today's entire day's worth of OHLC values, then on a if you look at the broader picture in this case, then it has not formed a lower high, which means that the bearish momentum that it had is not really being that sustained. So the idea now is to go long. Now there are two approaches to this: either to go long above the swing break, swing high break, or to go long at the swing low. But the RR that we have at the swing low, that is a bit better, because if we went high over the break of this swing high point, then the stop loss would have been under the previous swing low, which is pretty wide. So now the idea is to go for a long position at the swing low itself, and the stop loss going under that. So the position that we are going to have on SR Transfen is 675, stop loss at 665, and the ideal targets at 1% as usual. Moving on to the next one, Apollo Hospitals. Now Apollo Hospitals, it had broken down the support level, but today it had a gap up opening above that support, and then again broke that today as well throughout the session. But now it has not actually formed a lower low. It has not broken a previous swing low. Whereas if you simply look at the OHLC values, then it has broken the previous recent swing high. So the idea now is to go for a long position, but in a breakout manner. So we are going to be using the SLM order type here. So it's a long above 1700, stop loss at 1680, and the ideal targets at 1% as usual. Because also if it breaks the 1700 barrier, then it's also breaking the downward sloping trend line. So it should go up from that point onwards. Let's see how that pans out. For Just Dial, we are going to go conservative long position here. We have had consecutive rejections from that point of resistance 390. Crossed, a couple of days ago, should act as support now at this point onwards. So the simple idea is to go for a long at 390, stop loss at 385, targets at 1%, just because of the role reversal that we have. Moving on to the next one, PL. Now PL, we are going to go for a long position at the support level of 1400. First of all, it has acted as a support level in the past. As you have seen, the price has taken a bounce from that point at multiple points in the past, and every time it has crossed impulsively. So there has been a spike of demand at that point. So the idea now is to go for a long position at 1400, stop loss at 1380, ideal targets 1% on the upside as usual. Let's see how this one pans out. The next one that we have, IndusInd Bank. Now IndusInd Bank, again we are going to go for a long position here as well. The simple reason is that if you look at the impulsive advance that we have had, it is a strongly bullish sign. But the thing is, since there was no stop in between, we don't really have any role reversal or anything that we can apply at that point. So it was not exactly a supply zone break either. So the idea is to go for a long position near the previous swing point, which is at 510. Now let's see how this one pans out. This entry is it's slightly conservative. It is about 3% away from the current market price, but let's see how that goes. So the idea is to go for a long position at 510, stop loss at 503, and the ideal targets at 1% on the upside. Then we move on to the next one, that is MFSL. MFSL, again we are going to go for a long position, because that has acted as a strong support in the past as well. So the idea is to go for a simple long position at 527, stop loss at 520, and the ideal targets at 1% on the upside. Moving on to Oro Pharma. Now, Oro Pharma, we are going to go for a breakout rate similar to Apollo Hospitals. Now, the thing is, the level that we have on Oro Pharma 870. If you zoom out and if you just consider the pattern that is at play here, so it is sort of an HNS pattern. If you look at the high low formation that has been going on since April on this chart, so it is a strong uptrend, and a HNS is a reversal pattern. The neckline, now it is not exactly a textbook example of HNS, it is slightly distorted in shape, but the placement is pretty much perfect, with the head being the recent swing high, and the shoulders being equivalent swing highs as well. Now the thing is, if you are trading the pattern, then you would prefer to go for a short position under 853, 855, which is a break of neckline. But let's see, we are going for a slightly counter trend approach at this point. Not really counter trend, but rather against the pattern approach. But we are still going to wait for a confirmation, because if it does break 870, the level of 870 once again, then the HNS pattern is more or less discarded, because the neckline break should be swift and impulsive. So if that does not happen, that means the HNS has been invalidated, and it is pretty much safe to go for longs. So we are going to go for a long position above 870, stop loss at 860, and the ideal targets being 1% from your point of entry. Moving on to the next one, Bharat Forge. Now this is a script that we are waiting for 2 days to trigger in anticipation of the completion of the flag pattern, but that is something that never really happened. So what we are going to do now is we are going to go for a short position at the resistance, or it is also a mediocre quality of supply zone at 500. So we are going to go for a short position at 500, stop loss at 507, ideal targets 1% on the downside. Now these are all the charts on the equity sides that we have to discuss with you guys. Now moving on to the index side of things, and starting with, as usual, Nifty. Now Nifty, if you look at today's trading session, or rather if you go back to what I told you guys yesterday, that if that zone is being sustained 11,350, 11,375, then I would like to go for a long position at the pullback with the target at 11,400, 11,450. But we had a gap up opening, and I have told you guys time and time again that a gap up does not count as a break or sustenance or rejection. That doesn't really count. So it has a gap. It had a gap up opening which could not really be sustained. So now on Nifty you have a tight trading range of about 80 odd points from 11,380 to 11,450. Depending on the direction of the range break, expect further momentum to follow. If it breaks on the upside, then we might see 11,600 in a day or two. If it breaks on the downside, then we might go all the way down to 11,300, 11,250 as well. Let's see which one of that happens. For me personally, if I have a very aggressive approach, then I would go for short positions at 11,450, 11,475, because I have option chain resistance there at 11,500 to back me up. On the long side, I would prefer to take a long at 11,375, 11,350, as I told you guys yesterday. But when we look at solely from the option chain, or before that, if I had a conservative approach on Nifty, then these two zones, as I said, the 80-point trading range, depending on the direction of the breakout, I would take an entry. Now let's see which one of these situations is made tomorrow. But now again, coming back to the option chain side of things, we have immediate resistance at 11,500 with 775,000 added contracts. We have significant resistance at 11,600 with 143,000 added contracts. On the support side of things, we have 11,400 as immediate support with 1.5 million added contracts, which is pretty big. On the significant support, we have 11,300 with 720,000 added contracts. However, the fishy thing is, when we look at the PCR of volume, which is coming to a very, very bearish 1.13, it is more or less one of the highest PCR values that I have seen in the recent times. Day before yesterday, I believe it was 1.08 or 1.09 if I'm not wrong. And yesterday it was declining at 0.9, but now again it is back to 1.13. So the option buyers, they are very, very reluctant on from letting Nifty go up. But the option writers, they seem pretty confident. If you just look at the massive 1.5 million contracts that have been added on 11,400. So let's see how this goes. In fact, since tomorrow is the expiry, if I'm not wrong, yep, tomorrow is the expiry, so let's see how this one pans out. It seems to me that it is more or less going to be a fight between the writers and the buyers, judging by the small trading range on the charts, and the completely opposite, or the completely polar views of the writers and the option buyers. So let's see how Nifty goes tomorrow. Coming to the second index that we have, Bank Nifty. Now, Bank Nifty, too, just like Nifty, is going to struggle between a range of 22,300 to 22,400. This 100 point range is going to be deciding the next 150 to 200 points move on Bank Nifty. If it breaks on the upside, then well, 22,600 might be on the cards. If it breaks on the downside, then 22,100 or 22,250 is going to be on the cards. So let's see how this goes out. Now, Bank Nifty, I do not really have an aggressive entry point as of now, because if you look at the kind of interaction that it has had on both the zones, the amount of wicks that I've had and no candle strength visible, so I don't really have a bias on Bank Nifty right now. But I would like to take trades either sell under 22,300 or buy about 22,400. Let's see how that goes out. Now, coming to the option chain for Bank Nifty, we have immediate resistance at 22,400 with 190,000 added contracts. Significant resistance at 22,600 with 273,000 added contracts. On the support side of things, we have 22,200 with 219,000 added contracts, and for significant support we have 22,000. We have 22,000 with 209,000 added contracts. So let's see how this goes out. For Bank Nifty, there is no aggressive entry as of now. Either way, for both of the indices, as I always say, don't rush into entries. Wait for the first 30 to 45 minutes of price action. Do come in, wait for at least 3 to 4 15-minute candlesticks to form, so that you are able to have a bias on what direction you want to take positions in. Now, these are all the charts that I had to discuss with you guys for today. As always, if you want any of this content, then head on to the Telegram channel at Apex FinServe. Now, one exciting news that I have for you guys is we have come up with another channel where we are going to be uploading almost everything, every niche that we have, or everything that we would like to share with you guys, which is not directly related to the markets. So because we don't want to spam you guys with such content on the main channel. So we have the other channel, which is by the name of Apex Unofficial. So you're more than welcome to join us there as well. The link of that channel is going to be in the description below. We are going to be kicking up that channel soon. It is going to be going live. We'll be having lots of things such as but you can expect content related to there's fitness, there's automotive, there's music, there's gaming, and probably a lot more of it. So we are excited to bring you guys that content, so please show us some love there as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe that channel as well. We will be uploading the content on that channel soon. Now, as usual, I hope you guys have a good green trading session tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good night. Bye.